Ladies and gentlemen, students and scholars, teachers and trainers, professors and professionals, the most honorable present Prime Minister, Saint Dr. Narendra Modi ji, respected fathers and mothers, affectionate sons and daughters, honorable ministers and doctors, I, Dr. Rakesh from USA, I appreciate, praise, admire now and here. It is the grace, superb blessing of Lord that He has given us this wonderful opportunity to appreciate our administrators, advisors, advocates. Dear friends, it is really nice time, nice place. You are learning life skills. Everyone leads his life as per the principle and doctrines that are provided by his surroundings through his family, society and nation. Likely that who leads his life with values and vision, it is the real aim and objective of true human being, of this true nation, of this true citizen. The 7 deadly sins, according to Mahatma Gandhi, are wealth without work, pleasure without conscience, knowledge without character, commerce or business without morality or ethics, science without humanity, religion without sacrifice, and politics without principle. When a child is born, who rejoices, the parents, relatives and friends, but who cries, the child. However, when we die, it should be the other way round. We should be rejoicing and have the satisfaction that we made a contribution to the world and left the world a little better place than we found it. Let the world cry that it has lost a good soul and become poorer. We were not just takers. We were also givers. Hindu philosophy believes that when good people pass away, they don't die. They only depart. Their names live on forever through their good deeds. Think of the last time you heard a eulogy as people pay their respects. And the most common things talked about are the little acts of kindness performed by a person during his lifetime. Little acts of kindness don't go unnoticed. In fact, they are remembered a lot more after a person is gone. That is the time people realize how much those little acts of kindness mean to them. No person was ever honored for what he received. Honor has been the reward for what he gave. How do we judge our value system? How do we put our value system to the test? I believe there are only two tests. The ultimate test is called the mama test. Whenever you are doing, whatever you are doing, wherever and with whomever, at home or at work, alone or with someone. If values are in question, ask yourself, if my mama were to see me doing what I am doing right now, would she be proud of me and say, "Atta boy"? Or would she hang her head in shame? Your values would be clarified rather quickly. If you passed the mama test and failed all other tests, you have passed. If you failed the mama test and passed all other tests, you have failed. This is worth repeating. Think about it. Whenever you need value clarification, ask yourself, if my mama were to see me doing whatever I am doing, would she be proud of me and say, "Atta boy"? Or would she hang her head in shame? The clouds will clear rather quickly and you will get your answers easily. If the mama test doesn't do it, I have another test called the Baba test. Whenever you are doing, whatever you are doing, wherever and with whomever, at home or at work, alone or other someone, if values are in question, ask yourself, if my children were to see me doing what I am doing right now, would I want them to see it or would I be embarrassed? Again, the clouds will clear rather quickly and you will get your answers. If these two tests doesn't clarify a person's values, then that person is no longer a human being and has no conscience left. How does our value system change? With constant exposure. What is intolerable becomes acceptable and translate into involvement, and all through the transition process, justification keeps taking place. Times are changing. Times are changing. We talk of the younger generation. Where will they end? We talk of the younger generation, where will they end? What about their value system? Before we point at them, Let's evaluate who is to blame. We ought to remember that values and virtues are not hereditary. They are learned. We need to get out. We need to get our priorities right. What we do for a living versus what we do with a living. What we do for a living versus what we do with a living. Money is not the payoff for every kind of work. Parents bring up the children with no payback in mind. Many people have loads of money, but they are very poor. Our objective ought to be both to have money and be rich. When money talks, it doesn't always talk sense, and the truth remains silent. The most unfortunate life is when people plan to get money without earning it. It is easier to make money and harder to keep it. The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. Hard work teaches a person the value of money. That is why it is important that parents teach their children inherits money without value, without lessons and guidance. They often equate everything with money. They think everything can be bought and sold. Of course, this is not true. People who have values have no price tag, neither do they value themselves. It is priceless character. The movie Indecent Proposal brings out the point rather clearly. One act of adultery was worth a quick $1 million. People want to be an overnight success at the cost of their science, and it still doesn't work because true values are priceless. The moment a price is set on values, the values lose their value. No possible gain can make up for that loss. It is good to have money and the things it can buy. But in the process of acquiring money, we don't want to lose the things that money can't buy. Money can only buy what money can buy. And in fact, the most precious things are those that money just can't buy. What money won't buy, the most precious things in life, money just can't buy. It is not unknown to hear that everyone has a price. People who talk that language are really up for sale themselves. People with character, integrity, and the right values are not for sale. Money will buy amusements but not happiness. A bed but not sleep. Books but not wisdom. A cloak but not more time. Companion but not friends. Finery but not beauty. Food but not appetite. A house but not a home. Medicine but not health. But not a marriage. Dear friends, we are to learn the true values of our life. What does the true meaning of values and vision? Through the character we can understand it. It is rightly said that stealing is more than sin. Hard working doing always win. The ancient glorious tradition are to teach and learn. Disobedience, offense, ill words, it to the tables turn. Those who commit sincerely patriotism and prayer attain spiritual peace, divine glimpse, the social status, whatever there. Elevate the grace of land to which you really belong. Indelible would be with thy fame if it is kept up alone. Adopt life with liveliness. Never succumb to fears. Never goes to that extent which brings others to tears. Lies, jealousy and ego, whosoever feeds, time and again he dies, in spirit as well in deed. It is rightly said that contentment is wonderful. Eat, drink and be merry, neither pinch nor other tarry. Thieves and gamblers deface the glory of nation and clan. Honest earning rejuvenates, uplifts the life tone. There are two kinds of tragedies in life. Not getting what we want. A creed for those who have suffered, I ask God for strength that I might achieve. I was made weak that I might learn humbly to obey. I asked for health that I might do greater things. I was given infirmity that I might do better things. I asked for riches that I might be happy. I was given poverty that I might be wise. I ask for power that I might have the praise of men. I was given weakness that I might feel the need of God. I ask for all things that I might enjoy life. I was given life that I might enjoy all things. I got nothing, I asked for nothing, I had hope for. Almost, despite myself, my unspoken prayers were answered. I, among all men, am most richly blessed. Verse through anonymous. Verse through anonymous. Getting what you want. When our value system is not clear, when our value system is not clear, getting what we want can be a bigger tragedy. The story of King Midas says it all. The Midas touch. We all know the story of the greedy king named Midas. He had a lot of gold, and the more he had, the more he wanted. He stored all the gold in his vault. He stored all his gold in his wallets and used to spend time every day counting it. One day, while he was counting, a stranger came from nowhere and said he would grant him a wish. The king was delighted and said, "I would like everything I touch to turn to gold." The stranger asked the king, "Are you sure?" The king replied, "Yes." So the stranger said, "Starting tomorrow morning with the sun rays, you will get the golden touch." The king thought, he must be dreaming. This couldn't be true. But the next day, when he woke up, he touched the bed, his clothes, and everything turned to gold. He looked out of the window and saw his daughter playing in the garden. He decided to give her a surprise and thought she would be happy. But before he went to the garden, he decided to read a book. The moment he touched it, it turned into gold and he could not read it. Then he sat to have breakfast. And the moment he touched the fruit and the glass of water, they turned to gold. He was getting hungry and he said to himself, "I can't eat and drink gold." Just about that time his daughter came running and he hugged her and she turned into a gold statue. There were no more smiles left. The king bowed his head and started crying. The stranger who gave the wish to came again and asked the king if he was happy with his golden touch. The king said he was the most miserable man. The stranger asked, What would you rather have? Your food and loving daughter, or lumps of gold and her golden statue?" The king cried and asked for. He said, "I will give up all my gold. Please give me my daughter back, because without her I have lost everything worth having." The stranger sent The stranger said to the king, "You have become wiser than before." And he reversed the spell. He got his daughter back in his arms, and the king learned a lesson that he never forget for the rest of his life. What is the moral of the story? Distorted values lead to tragedy. Sometimes getting what you want may be a bigger tragedy than not getting what you want. Dear friends, it's the learning time, learning stage of life for everyone, how to spend his time with nature by being natural. What moral values and spiritual values are needed in our youngsters for the upliftment and betterment of our nation. How we can modify our glory and beauty of nation. Unlike the game of soccer, where players can be substituted, the game of life allows no substitutions or replays. We may not get a second chance to reverse our tragedies as the king did. How would you like to be remembered? How would you like to be remembered? About 100 years ago, a man looked at the morning newspaper, and to his surprise and horror, read his name in the obituary column. The newspaper had reported the death of the wrong person by mistake. His first response was shock. Am I here or there? When he regained his composure, his second thought was to find out what people had said about him. The obituary read, "Dynamite King dies," and also he was the merchant of death. This man was the inventor of dynamite, and he read the words merchant of death. He asked himself a question: is this now I am going to be remembered? He got in touch with his feelings and decided that this was not the way he wanted to be remembered. From that day on, he started working toward peace. His name was Alfred Nobel, and he is remembered today by the great Nobel Prize. Just as Alfred Nobel got in touch with his feelings and redefined his values, we should step back and do the same. What is your legacy? How would you like to be remembered? Will you be spoken well of? Will you be remembered with love and respect? Will you be missed? It is the little nothing. It is the little things that make a big difference. There was a man taking a morning walk at the beach. He saw that along with the morning tide came hundreds of starfish, and when the tide receded, they were left behind, and with the morning sun rays, they would die. The tide was fresh, and the starfish were alive. The man took a few steps, picked one, and threw it into the water. He did that repeatedly. Right behind him, there was another person who couldn't understand what this man was doing. He caught up with him and asked, "What are you doing?" "There are hundreds of starfish. How many can you help? What difference does it make?" This man did not reply, took two more steps, picked up another one, threw it into the water, and said, "It makes a difference to this one." What difference are we making? Big or small? It does not matter. If everyone made a small difference, we would end up and a big difference, wouldn't we? Is your life worth saving? A boy was drowning in a river and he shouted for help. A man passing by jumped in the river and saved the boy's life. As the man was leaving, the boy said, "Thank you." The man asked, "For what?" The boy replied, "For saving my life." The man looked into the boy's eyes and said, "Son, make sure when you grow up that your life." It is time to think. This is a wake-up call. Success without fulfillment is meaningless. Unless there is a sense of meaning and purpose, life is empty and unhappy regardless of how much prestige, money, or degrees a person has. Success begins with developing your personal success. Success begins with developing your personal success philosophy about your health, money, family, society, and values. Without a clearly defined purpose and a philosophy to guide you, life is guided by fantasies. If people have not defined a philosophy of success, they have actually defined a philosophy or failure by default. Dear friends, you are learning great moral and ethical values that are needed for our life. How we can make our life more interesting and value it. Every scholar, Indian scholar, those who are learning in the different universities of our country and abroad, they must learn it. Sometimes we overlook the things that ought not to be overlooked, and don't overlook the things that ought to be overlooked. An integral part of a good value system. What is commitment? How commitment works in helping improving our attitudes, how it can make a good personality, how it can make us happen to be a good businessman, to be a good professional. It is really a great. For the worldly scholars, those who are studying in business schools, those who are learning different commercial skills from the different places, so they must learn these values. What is commitment? When our value system is clear, it becomes a lot easier to make decisions and commitments. Example, you can't make a commitment to your country by selling secrets to the enemy. You can't keep a friend by revealing to others what he told you in confidence. You can't keep a commitment to a job by trying to do as little as possible. Unkept commitments result in dishonest behavior. I wonder how any relationship, regardless of whether personal or professional, would work if people said something to the effect, I will try, but I can't commit. I will do it, but don't count on me. I will be there if I can, but don't get your hopes up. I will be there so long as you do well. I'll be there so long as you are in good health. I'll stick with you till I find something better. What is the true meaning of commitment? How do we can make satisfy the persons, listeners, those who are truly believing in us? If the following relationships cannot count and depend on one another, I wonder how anything would ever work in this world. Parent or child, student or teacher, employer or employee, husband or wife, customer or salesman, friend or friend. The uncertainty could lead to insanity. Our strongest relationships are tied together with the invisible something called commitment. Today, breaking a promise is considered no big deal. All relationships go sour without commitment. Lack of commitment would destabilize relationships and lead to insecurity. No one would know where they stand with each other. Commitment implies dependability. One is dependability. Second one is reliability. Third one is predictability, consistency, caring, empathy, a sense of duty, sincerity, character, integrity, and loyalty. If one of these ingredients is missing, commitment loses strength. When a person makes a commitment to someone, he is really saying, you can count on me no matter what, and I'll be there when you need me. Unconditional commitment says, my behavior is predictable future. What makes the future unpredictable? What makes the future unpredictable? One is changes in your life and circumstances. Second one is changes in my life and circumstances. Third one is changes in the external conditions. Regardless of the uncertainty, commitment says, you can count on me. A person who makes a commitment is willing to give up a lot. For what? The answer is pretty clear. The rewards can be priceless. Commitment says, what does the commitment says? One is, I am willing to sacrifice because I care. I am a person of integrity and you can trust me. I'll not let you down. Deposit pay will still be there. I'll not let you down in good times or in bad times. Commitment is not like a legal contract which is enforceable. Its foundation is not a signed piece of paper, but character, integrity, and empathy. Commitment does not mean sticking to something when a person has no choice. It means sticking in spite of choices. Without the above ingredients, no one would make a serious, long-lasting commitment to others. Thanks, dear brothers and sisters. Those who are listening the lesson of values and vision, it will help them to bring our nation up, to come up in our life for the betterment and upliftment of our career. Students, university scholars, those who are studying in Harvard, Cambridge, Oxford, Edinburgh, Pennsylvania, California, in the different universities of the world, they must learn these human values. Because our nation, India, is the starter, beginner, initiator and founder of all the human values, and it has its own rank in proving that our India has the superb socio and spiritual nationalistic values in the world. So dear friends, I thank again all of you, the most honorable present Prime Minister who has provided us wonderful time to admire, appreciate and praise the worldly scholars. Thanks. Nice to see all of you.